Well, none of them can hide from the truth, yeah. Children have to go back to the roots, yeah. None of them can hide from the truth, yeah. Children have to go back to the roots. I'm telling you now, the truth. Telling you, yeah, the truth. You have to go back to the roots. Go to the roots. Yeah, man, this is Benjamin out of the Smiling Coast, West Africa, Gambia, representing for the one and only Abu, the big man you don't know, the Soninke warrior, the man that brings the truth, Soninke warrior, the sign of enlightenment, the Soninke warrior, the righteous and the true African. Abu, reveal the truth to them, no matter how them try run from it, because none of them can hide from the truth, yeah. Yes, we have to dig back the roots, yeah. Fire!
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Afridamus Report. I'm your host, Afridamus. I want to welcome all of you to today's edition of the Afridamus Report. Please make sure you like and subscribe to the channel if you're new here, and also share this video, this show with, your friends and family. Don't be stingy. Make sure that people are getting this message, because you see, in case you are not aware, if you look at it today in the United States of America, if you're paying close attention, you would understand that there is a culture war. And in this culture war, different tactics are being used. You see, in the United States of America, the dominant culture is based in what white people decided to be. But there is two factions of this debate. You have those who are conservative and those who are liberal, even though the liberals have gone way far left. So the culture war is controlled by the liberals, which is also, other faction of white people. They differ in ideology. So these liberals have control over, the weak-minded Americans. It is not a matter of race or gender, but they use the insecurities of groups of people. This is why today this show is for people who truly want to learn, people that are seeing what is happening in front of them. They know this is not right. They know it's out of context, but they really don't have the words for it. They don't know why this are happening, because this is a generational thing. It goes from generation to generation. In fact, it is taught in schools, the media, the mainstream media. So if you live in the United States of America, you would understand that the culture, what they call culture in America, the mainstream, which controls everything, is what is shown on television. And many people, they put their children in front of this television, and the television is what dictates the culture. They brainwash the children in school, because think about it, in today's culture, what they are pushing is victimhood. Those who see themselves as victims are empowered, whether it's based in race, weight, sex, gender. Because think about it, back in the days, right? There are some people who are gay. Some people would call them sodomites, people that read the Bible, or homosexuals. So we know like those people exist. And there is lesbians. Okay, it's a subsection of the American culture. So being somebody from outside that American culture coming in, it stands out like sore thumb. And also the Americans there are Americans that also find this strange. But this culture, ask yourself, where is this coming from? Because if the children are not identifying with their parents, which is false, by the way, their parents have bought into the victimhood mentality as well. So this victimhood is expressed in so many different ways. There is different layers to it. So today we will talk about the section of the cultural, quote unquote, cultural appropriation part. You have liberals who, people that say they identify as that, generally they are white, living in a white society. I have encountered these people where they have this mentality, they are not satisfied with the world. Their main goal, as you can see how the United States government is being operated today, things that do not make sense, that's what they are convincing you to do. They want you to fight against your own nature. So they are using the sick-minded, the weaker people of society, of all skin color. Because the things that these people are crying over, fighting over, if you ask yourself, why would one even care about this? If one is secure in who they are, I'm not talking about people that are just wandering around looking for what victim group they can join. It's sort of like a victimhood Olympics. They've removed the real foundation out of the American schools. The things that made America great, they removed those. Instead of people being individuals, they push group mentality, meaning sheeps. This is why these people are wandering all over, looking for a group that they can join. Which group is more victimized? And anyone that thinks like that, you would never win. They've introduced things from elementary level that gives people sense of entitlement and victimhood. Some groups buy into it, others don't. So today we're going to talk about how, for instance, you've seen the thumbnail. You could see nobody appropriates white culture or Western culture, some would say, than, Black Americans. In fact, being an African, somebody of African origin, from tribe, having our own culture, understanding that culture is not through skin color. Culture is based in principles. Culture is based in the way people think, the way people identify with each other. Culture is not just jumping and dancing entertainment. But in America, what do they use? People identify through entertainment. So the things, it depends on what group you're from. You would try to identify with a group. And the way to try to beat the dominant group, because we used to celebrate people who are strong. There's no glory in crying about being a victim if you did not show us how you overcame your victimhood. One can be lost. One can be in a society where, for instance, it is really hard for children in this society. Today, from what I'm seeing, and even from 20 years ago, the place is a hellhole. Imagine living in a society where you have non-stop electricity. Education is free. Well, now it's brainwashing. But any information you need, you have access to it. Food is there. But the moment, who taught you? Who taught you to start looking at what other people have? Who taught you of the envy and jealousy that you have in your heart? Who taught you to feel inferior? It has to come from somewhere. They created a system. This system is based in class. They use the history of Black people, which for many Black people creates insecurity in them. It creates anxiety. It creates, this sense of being lost in the world, even though your history is found in a place you could trace it back 400 years, but yet you feel insecure about it. Where did that insecurity come from? You think a black child just woke up and started thinking, oh, I feel insecure? Absolutely not. Someone taught that child how to see the world. It's not based in skin color. Because when you tell one your skin is inferior, the way you act is inferior, but yet you create an environment where this person would operate without principles, without orders. You promote the degenerate part of that culture. The people that practice degeneracy are the ones rewarded. Imagine providing a statue of an unemployed drug addict to the children. What do you tell the children? What do you inspire them with? Or promoting people, even criminals, just because they are dead. You want to promote that. Who is doing that? It is not black people themselves. You do realize that, right? Because you have people who control the race hustlers, who pay for all these things. Who is making, not just black children nowadays, American children in general, who is making them dumb? Who is telling white children they are evil because of their skin color? Oh, because they try to, promote this idea that because of your skin color, you are oppressive to another person because of their skin color or gender. I have taken one of these classes. They call them gender studies. You can only imagine what that conversation was like. They did not like what I was saying, but logic. Because they try to tell me that I was a victim because of my skin color, because they have different hierarchies. I said, okay. But in another category, I am a victimizer because I'm a man. So I started challenging them, because you've heard the word social construct. When you hear this type of words, when somebody utters these words, know that he is of the devil or she is of the devil. They use words like misogyny. I was in those classes and I called them out, because the society, what they are breeding is to destroy it. When you turn your citizens into hypocrites, when they have no shame displaying that hypocrisy, now you've turned your society into this dirt that other people are seeing. They see how hypocritical that society is. They don't respect that society. So now I'm going to talk about cultural appropriation, because you see, generally, you would see black people, let's be honest, some black women who would come out and complain about cultural appropriation. They complain. Even the effeminized black males, because you see, majority of the black men were raised by their mothers, which is not their fault. That mom made the choice to reproduce with whoever, without any principle. Because you see, in America, they've created a situation where, you could just make babies, no problem. No problem. No problem. It's not guided by religion. The women, because they say they are independent, but generally the black women in America, they are the ones who are not shy about displaying this. They say, don't look at what the person says alone. Look at how they live their lives. So first, what do? They bait you into, quote unquote, they are victims. And what is this victimhood based off of? Oh, my ancestors were slaves. Okay, your ancestors were slaves, but you were never a slave. It used to be people that you have people, like I keep repeating this, who were born into slavery and then they overcame slavery and they made history. We know of these people. But today that's not been the story. That is not the story. So how can you run around with blonde hair, long weaves, tattoos all over your body, and point fingers at white people? This is all European culture, by the way. It's we know Europeans to be the ones to produce blonde hair out of their scalp naturally. But I've never seen white people say, I've never seen it maybe, say to a black woman, you're appropriating our culture. So it is safe to say Black Americans do not have their own culture. You could just say they have American culture. They're American, just happen to be Black. There's no issue in that. Imagine simply somebody identifying themselves as a separate group, but you're like, hey, the behavior is still the same. There's no difference. I've had this debate with people who tell me, like, for example, Kwanzaa. I've met Black people that say to me before, they're like, hey, happy Kwanzaa. You don't celebrate Kwanzaa. I say, what is that? At the time, I didn't know what it was. They said, oh, you don't know that? Oh, I thought you were African. Imagine how brainwashed those people are. Clearly, I know some of you Africans, even you play into it, where you understand most of these people don't even know what they are talking about. These people are lost. They don't have the right information. But I understand you have to play along because of their anger. Because many, when you try to reveal the truth, they are angry. I say, what is Kwanzaa? So me being me, I did my investigation. I found out Kwanzaa is in fact a made-up holiday in San Francisco by some guy named Mr. Everett, who went to prison. It was made up holiday, just like June 10th holiday. If you pay attention, all these holidays are created and given to the Blacks by the government. It's not some Black coming saying, hey, guess what? Now we are going to be celebrating Kwanzaa, or we are going to be celebrating June 10th. You see what I'm saying? So that is not the case. So, you would meet some Black people who wear they would buy some shirt which is made in China, colorful. They're like, oh, I've got my dashiki on. Now I'm African. But me being straight from Africa, I'm like, which culture? So you understand, once the person opened their mouth, they say African culture. They didn't give you specific. I know most of you Africans just go along, but right away the person do not have a clue about what they are talking about. But they have to feel self-righteous. They have to shame you to accept their fantasy. You see what I'm saying? I understand why you don't correct most of the people, because I cannot just, like, I'm a Soninke. Some people say Sarahule. I cannot just wake up tomorrow and say I'm a Mandinka, to people who are from from that culture. That does not even make sense. But in America, the Blacks or whites, they can identify as anything until the Blacks started, shaming the whites for it, because the whites are better at assimilating. Because you see, the Blacks are not, in America, the Blacks are not as open-minded. Not all of them, but majority are not as open-minded. If it's not white people promoting it, white people promoting it on TV, guess what? If white people promote it as something good and fun, then it's good and fun for them. If white people look down on it, then they would look down on it. Not all, of course, but most. If white people promote it, whatever Black person the white people promote, he becomes cool. So when I came to America, like I said, I'm studying the American culture. I studied the American art. I studied the entertainment. I studied the comedy. And I listened to even like the black people, their comedies based on their black story, right? But they would generalize it. For instance, if you come across me, you see me, I'm African, I have an accent, I talk to you, but you're like, okay, we're black. And you started telling me a story, and you think the story, this is supposed to be comedy, supposed to be funny. But you're telling me how your mom used to beat you with the belt. Like they would talk about, and to me, I'm looking at you like, wow, your mom is that abusive? But they would say this as a joke. For me, where I'm from, I know no one who would even tell that as a joke that they got beat up by their mom. And I started thinking, I said, maybe most of these men, their moms emasculated them. Because see, when a man is growing up at a certain age, their mom keep beating them, they emasculate them. So I started seeing that. I started seeing it. I said, but you see, a black person who doesn't know how to separate themselves to understand, like, okay, culture is not based in skin color. People are completely different. This humor doesn't translate. What you're talking about, this is abuse. Like you were getting abused. Like where I'm from, I would see that as abuse, right? But when you don't connect that way, then you are a Uncle Tom or you're copying white people. So you start wondering who sees who as superior. Who's because the good things, the good attributes, not abusing children or stuff like that. This is not all black people, obviously, but I'm talking about the mainstream, what is promoted. When you don't identify as that, they say you're trying to be white. So it's like whites are seen as superior by most blacks. Hence explains why they have no shame about showing their jealousy towards white people. Anything white people do, it's like you're in a playground with a child, right? As soon as you're better at the child, when you're playing, a game, imagine you playing a game with a child when you were a kid at the playground, basketball, playing 21. And every time this kid comes, you're winning. Instead of this kid trying, so they can beat you because you're all kids. Instead, they start shaming you so that you can make yourself mediocre. You see? So that's what is happening today in America. You guys remember Eminem, right? You guys know about the rap culture. By the way, look at it in America, generally. The culture, it comes from outside. For instance, like rap. The rap culture came from Jamaica. Think about that for a minute. Because look at it. The rappers who are of Jamaican origin, Biggie Small, Busta Rhymes, just look at these people, their background, the way they rap is completely different from, they can rap better than, because like, for instance, Biggie Small, you compare him to Tupac. Tupac, he has good words, but he cannot rhyme like Biggie Small and Busta Rhymes. I'm just giving you examples here because in America, like I said, the mainstream media, that's what things are based off of. That's what it is based off of. So I'm going to bring a video here today based in culture. But before I enter that, I want us to answer the question, what is Black American culture? I've had this conversation, I've had people, having this conversation. You guys remember I even did play a video here, the Somalis versus the Black Americans, Tariq and his crew on Twitter. The Somalis ask the question, what is your culture? It turns into a battle, you know. Anywhere, any time this conversation comes, they would ask Black Americans, what is your culture? It either ends in shouting and yelling or shaming the person. But today I'm going to take the time and break it down. Hopefully this would help teach you a lesson. Those of you that want to change, there's nothing wrong with changing. You might think something is okay before, but when you go out there, you try to, implement it. It's not because of your skin color that people are not receiving it. Maybe you should look at that behavior. Or when you start pointing fingers at somebody to say, like Eminem, like some of the blacks would say, oh, Eminem is a culture vulture, he appropriate. So are you saying all blacks can rap? This man is a better rapper. So you are showing your jealousy. When a human being can use and rely on their own skills themselves and develop a certain part of their skills, how are you going to tell them they appropriated it? If you think you're better at it at them, go ahead. I remember when I first came to America, the thing that was popular, and it was weird to me, to be quite honest. I participated, but it was weird to me to come and go to a club and see grown men dancing, getting sweaty, competing, dancing with each other. They do the dance competition. You generally would see women do this, but you would see this happening. And there are black men, every black person at the time you see, believe just simply being black, they can dance. I can assure you, I've seen many who couldn't dance. But TV told them that. But they believe just simply being black. Now they have, it's like that spirit transferred, like it's like an osmosis. Or one would see R. Kelly. R. Kelly is a good singer. I'm telling you, I Believe I Can Fly. That's my favorite song. I know, even though these hypocrites remove his music talking about he did X, Y, and Z. Now we don't want to listen to his music, but that's a whole different topic, So, they would think they can do these things because somebody misinformed them, not understanding that they are individuals. Not every black person can play basketball like LeBron James. Simple. But you would see there are people who buy into this. Oh, because LeBron can play basket because he's black. No, that's not the reason. There are many black people who cannot play basketball, not even close to him. We all know this. We see a Nigerian right now dominating the NBA that the blacks say they own. This Nigerian, he comes from Nigeria with his accent that the blacks make fun of. He is dominating them in the league. It's not about being black, white, or where you're from. There are many people like Dirk Nowitzki, a white German from Germany. He used to play in the NBA. This man was making, black people, white people, he was making them sweaty. At that 3-point line, every time they put the ball in his hand, Dirk Nowitzki is making the threes. It's not about the color. It's about your mind. How do you see yourself, people? How do you see yourself is going to dictate how you behave in the world. What you believe in will show. So now, what is Black American culture? I want us to answer that question. In fact, don't take it from me. This conversation already took place in a show between Black Americans and quote unquote first generation Africans. In one of these shows, we would allow the Black persons themselves to answer this, because every single time you ask what Black American culture is, most people, they cannot tell you, even the Blacks themselves. They would tell you things that doesn't make sense. Like if they say that's their culture, when you talk about that and say, okay, this and that, then they would say, oh, you are racist, you are this. So don't take it from me. Before we enter what brought us here, I am going to play this clip for you guys to hear from the horse's mouth, for me to set this conversation. Because you see, if you ask me, hey, Afridamus, what is your culture? Soninke culture? I would have absolutely no problem to explain to you what is done. And these things we do, our culture doesn't resemble the blacks culture at all. I can tell you that 100%. As somebody that lived in America for most of his life, being around the blacks, we do not practice the same culture at all. Not even similar. No part of it is similar. The only part that is similar is we all like food and we are all black. The mainstream black culture that they promote in America, I mean, they're promoting it to everybody because I've shown you guys here now. Anybody can claim being black. And, the blacks were, in fact, let me just play this before we enter this. Let's start the show. Let's go. Ay, 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 ay. Baby girl love my bop and unlike me too. No roof on my top and my babe see-through. Hating on the pen, don't stop, shit ain't gon' feed you. I've been all on my grind, so why I need you? Baby girl love my bop and unlike me too. No roof on my top and my babe see-through. Hating on the pen, don't stop, shit ain't gon' feed you. I've been all on my grind, so why I need you? Big flex, my swole up. Double cup and I'm pulled up. Niggas hating like hold up. What's the problem? I'm pulled up. Big flex, my swole up. Hard body, they fold up. Shawty say I done glowed up. Double text on my phone up. Fuck with your boy, I'm the man of the year. I'm not a fan of your peers. Serve him with fate, I'ma hand him the shears. He not the man of your peers. Heart of a lion, I'm trampling fears. I love the. Thank you. So, we've got the proofs. Actually, last time I checked, black people did not grow blonde out of their hair. There are some if Africans, some like to give you the argument, blacks, grow blonde. Where? And they will show you an albino. Albino doesn't have melanin. That's why. But that doesn't mean that's the natural thing for what you are claiming, because the melanin queen. So we saw the melanin queens here, growing, blonde, out of their hair. Maybe they got it from the Korean store, right? So you would think someone who, a group that have no problem doing this will not be hypocrites and try to claim, cultural appropriation. Because you see, they said cultural appropriation is trying to steal somebody else's culture. But can you claim cultural appropriation if everyone is saying you do not have one? That brings us to this conversation. Let's hear from a black individual what they think their culture is, because I like to allow people themselves to explain. So let's allow the black person to tell us. So these people, they're thoughtful about this. They have a show. They invited this, guests to come and talk about this. Even though I don't believe that, most of the second generation Africans, for instance, they are not the right people to ask about culture, about African, because their culture, their sense of culture have already been tainted. They are practicing American culture. You don't know this until they come across the real deal African, like myself. Yes, there is a thing called the real African. That's why it's in my intro. For instance, I have my son. He would say to you he's African, but can he really tell you much about Africa? Even though his father is an African scholar, African genius, he can tell you just a little bit, but not much, because he hasn't lived that life. But I have lived it. I have lived both lives. So here we go. Let's allow these people to speak and tell us what American black culture is.
You let them know where they can follow you at.
Hello, y'all. My name's Ami. You can follow me at Ami Canoe with 2 U's.
Hi, I'm Christine. You guys can follow me at The Mahogany Child.
Hi, I'm Gigi, and you can follow me at Gigi OKEREH on Instagram. And hi, I'm Kadi, and you can follow me at Kadi K on Instagram.
So already we can see here those women, they are going for the European standard of beauty. And then they would blame the Europeans. How dare you make me try to copy you? Oh, America is a Eurocentric standard. Okay, if you are not European, why would that bother you? It shouldn't. You should love you. You know what the cure to victimhood is? Be better, overcome it, and tell people how you did it. But to wallow in it while you're showing hypocrisy, this is why I'm pointing it all out here so that the truth can set you free. Because there are many of you that are confused. These young ladies here, they are confused, but they don't get this type of lectures and shows from African immigrants. Because many of the African fathers, what do? They are focused on just going to work, thinking they're providing. Oh, I'm gonna send my child to school. I've had many clashes with these fake teachers when they try to corrupt my son's mind to turn him into a victim. Even on the Martin Luther King Day, they said, oh, because he's black, they want him to give the speech to act like Martin Luther King. He said he doesn't want to. I said, you don't have to. I said, it's not our history. Because I don't want them to put in his head that, like they show those dogs that, oh, his ancestors were bitten by a dog. I have nothing against those people. That's their story. But that wasn't our story. I'm not going to hijack it. But let's continue.
Also, you can play that. Well, it's not even a clip, but you could put that picture up on the screen real quick.
Want to join the six-figure club? Google and other tech companies are hiring hundreds of thousands of workers.
All right, so we got this dude, Presser. I don't know. I think that's CulturalApropriation boyfriend. He made a tweet. I forgot how long ago this was, but he said, "Americans got no culture. The biggest culture is hip hop. Motherfuckers don't even know what island they come from. Just black, like the color." So my first topic is, why do non-black Americans always say black Americans don't have culture?
Where's he from?
He's from Canada. I don't know exactly what like island or country he's from, but some West Indian. I'm not completely sure. Like,
the blacks, especially the ones that say they want to be African. Why would you try to argue with an African and tell an African, what, being an African is? If people are telling you you don't have a culture, instead of arguing, you should find out why. Because if if you follow any trendy thing, yes, it is safe to say you don't have a culture. You don't have the discipline or foundation to be you. It means today you could be part of group A, tomorrow you're part of group B. It's like somebody is playing you around like a yo-yo. You are not deciding. So most people say black culture is hip hop, and they themselves, they would say this. This is what people know black Americans for: entertainment, the hip hop or sports. So let's see how this question is answered, because most blacks would even brag about this. They would say, oh, where's your African Michael Jordan? You're right. We don't have one as of now. But that Nigerian man, that Giannis, maybe he would win 7 titles. He just started. We don't know. But, time will tell. Okay? But yes, it's true. There is no African Michael Jordan yet. Obviously. But we'll get there. But let's allow this to continue.
What was the question again?
why do non-black Americans always say that black Americans don't have any culture?
I don't think it's like you guys don't have any culture. I just feel like you guys don't know your background, like where y'all really came from, like ancestry and stuff.
Mm-hmm. So you think, okay,
girl, that means yes, they do not have a culture. You just told them that. If you're telling somebody you don't know where you're coming from, you don't know your roots, You're telling them that, yes, you do not have a culture, because if you don't have a belief system, if you don't believe in God, you would fall for anything. If you don't have a principle, you would fall for anything. A tree that doesn't have strong roots would fall easily. So that means, yes, you're telling the guy, see, this is the thing. Word semantics. People want to spare people's feelings, whatever the hell that means. You said no, but then you're telling him, yes, you do not have a culture. But let's continue.
No, I think they do have a culture, like specifically Black Americans, like the food they
Yeah.
eat on Thanksgiving, stuff like that. That's culture.
But that's not a culture because everybody eats food on Thanksgiving.
No, I mean the kind.
So you guys see this Black American here, the one with the big hair, right? So this is a second generation thinking. They like to spare, because sometimes Black Americans don't realize when you interact with some immigrants, they have that, because they come from those white suburbs, they have that white guilt. So they're not going to tell you the truth. They're going to try to spare you. But you see the real Black girl say, yes, everyone eats food on Thanksgiving. That's American culture. Thanksgiving, eating the turkey, macaroni and cheese, frying the turkey or baking the turkey. You think that's Black people's culture? No, that's not Black people culture. That's white people's culture. Celebrating, when the pilgrims came to America and got welcomed. You see, that's white people's culture. That is not Black American culture. It is now American culture, because Lord knows I love Thanksgiving. So being an honorary American, I dabble in Thanksgiving. That turkey, that stuffing, mashed potato, macaroni and cheese. Let's go.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
like
okay.
Like
yams
the
and
way they
mac and
celebrate it.
cheese
Like
and
it's
stuff.
certain stuff you see on Instagram, you know that's just Black people,
Mhm.
like Black American.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's fair. I wanted to bring this up because I do have this conversation a lot with Africans or even just Caribbean people who will often look down on Black Americans. Number one, they will say they lazy, they ghetto. I've heard African parents tell their kids not to date African American men, not to marry them, things of that nature. So I wanted to have this conversation because I want to know, where do y'all think that comes from? Why is that stereotype there with African Americans specifically?
I think
Hey, what is
Look, people, why do people get offended? Offended when they say certain parents' culture don't want you to marry them. Why would you want to marry in a culture that you are not wanted in? Why do you even care? Like, for instance, if a white man doesn't want me to marry her, the daughter, because they don't want the child to be brown, I am not going to say the man is racist. It makes sense to preserve yourself, okay? He wants his grandchild to look like him. But you see, the Blacks who try to shame, oh, he's racist. Why would somebody want to erase themselves? It is nature to not want to erase yourself. You guys remember the conversation we had here with when the Somalis and some of those African Sims, mostly the Nigerians, trying to, shame the Somalis into allowing the Somalis to marry them, because that's what it sounded like. Oh, so you were promoting this idea because you want the Somali women. So it's the same thing. They will say, oh, the African women don't want, their parents don't want you to marry into them. This is normal in Africa. For example, in my tribe, except the women that rebel, but in my tribe, if you're not from my tribe, the fathers, they're not going to want you to marry their daughter. They want their daughters to be married to somebody from my tribe. And some will say, oh, Afridamus, that's closed-minded. Hey, that's opinion. If you are not part of that culture, it shouldn't bother you. You should go find the people, be with the people that like you. Do not try to convince people of anything, of anything. Someone said, I am African and do disagree with you, Afridamus. You are being xenophobic. Look, some of you are not even getting the point. I did not make these rules. I'm telling you what the practice is. Imagine, I'm not telling you that this is the rule I made. I was born into this culture. It's not like they are saying we hate those people. No, no. You know how like the Somalis were saying Somalis marry within Somalis? This is common amongst most cultures. In America, they are fooling you, trying to make you think that, you know, people just mingle with each other. It doesn't mean you hate those people. People want to preserve their own culture. Some people are into that. There are some who are open, they are globalists. They are globalists, they will mingle with whoever. No problem. More advantage to those people. More advantage. You see? So someone says, you're not American, man. You have a tribe. You just said, yes, I do. So does Native Americans. Native Americans have a tribe. If that's disqualifying one of being an American, you want to disqualify the original people of the land. So that doesn't make sense. I believe that in America, they have laws. It's a law and order. That's what they go by in this country. So they created a law that allows anyone to legally be a part of their system. So this is why your culture is diluted. It's from all over. All over. It's all over the place. So it is bound to consume what is quote unquote Black American culture. Look at most of the rappers today in the Black American scene. They are not of quote unquote AD or S background. Their parents are either from the Caribbean, Africa. I'm talking first generations. Or even now you have the Nigerians doing the Afro beats, you know, slowly overtaking, you know, the American hip hop, because the American hip hop preaches death and destruction. The Nigerians are partying, you know, people are into parties, you know. You can play this song in front of anyone. The American one, you cannot play it if your children are in the car. That is if you care about your kids. Look at how many rappers are killing each other. Look at how many of them are going to jail because they invite death and destruction into their lives, and they invite it into their, you know, the lives of their fans, people that listen to this. You cannot listen to death and destruction every day, you know, and expect to produce peace. It's not possible. That's just the laws of nature. But let's continue.
What are some negative stereotypes y'all heard about Black America from your parents, from your friends?
You literally said it all.
Yeah.
That's it?
Yeah,
Okay.
100%.
Yeah.
All
Like
right.
my mom would tell me not to marry an African
Yeah.
American.
Yeah.
She says it all the time.
It's
Go.
just the difference
Yeah.
in the background.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
saying like
Bad
deeper down, like
influences.
into history and all that.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, no, like why do you be saying that?
Okay. What you guys say about this? Drew?
I mean, do y'all feel like, even though your mother's saying it, like, I'm pretty sure you guys have friends that's like African American.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I have my
And-
friends.
Yeah.
All right. So with that being said, does that have any effect on how you see Black people or relationships you can see? Like, you still wouldn't bring a Black dude home. I mean, an African American dude home.
Honestly, it depends because
Yeah.
I think all of us or most of us were born and raised in America. So
Yeah.
like they have
Yeah.
to understand like
Mhm.
we grew up with them. Like that's even though we
Yeah.
have our culture and our background, we wasn't raised in Africa.
Right.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
So, in many words, what this woman, second generation African, is saying to them is, hey, bro, this is not just made up. Remember, we grew up here too. We grew up with you. Do you guys know, like, I have lived in America, like, for most people's lifetime. Imagine before I came to America here, now there are kids who were born like during the time I'm here. Now they became adults. They are like 20. They are now adults. These are the people even trying to talk about these things. How much stuff do you think I know about this place before those kids were born? One time I had this one, white kid try to tell me about American citizenship. I asked him, how old is he? He told me he was 21. I said, I have been an American longer than you have. What are you talking about? I have paid way more taxes than you have. So I have no problem, no qualms letting you know what the deal is. I have absolutely no problem about that. Because you see, these people, they run around, they ask for things. I ask you, do you pay taxes? Because that's what it comes down to. Do you pay taxes? So you're not about to run your BS on me. So this woman is letting him know, look, it's not just a saying in many words. She's saying, we grew up here with you. We were born and raised here. So we know certain things, what you promote. Definitely, like African parents, most of them, they promote the traditional conservative, meaning marriage. The blacks have no problem having baby out of wedlock. You know, not just the blacks, most people, and most cultures are not down for that. You know, most cultures are not. Like, it's just like the blacks do it more than any other group in America, but the whites are catching up as well, and the Mexicans.
All I know is the same stuff that they know as well.
Right.
It's just like a little cultured because of our parents.
I can understand that.
Yeah, that's fair to say.
I mean, I would think African Americans got the most influential culture in the world, to be honest with you, which is the hip hop culture. You know what I mean?
See, false. That's another delusion. Again, you guys see the mainstream media promotes this and show it all over America. And the blacks, in England, the blacks think, no, really, we are the most dominant culture. But that's false. That's not true. Like when I went to Gambia, those people literally, majority don't know anything. They don't know much about American culture. Some of them, they still listen to Coolio. They don't know much about American culture. Now, if you say Afrobeat, because there's tons of Nigerians are dominating. If you say Afrobeats, I heard a lot of that. I heard a lot of Gambian music and Senegalese music and Jamaican. You guys remember I played that video here, like Lucky Child? So some Jamaican music for sure, but not hip hop. If you go to the Yam quarters of Africa, they're the ones that try to act American. Yam quarters meaning Ghana, Nigeria area. Because, you know, Nigerians, they try to fake it to be like Americans or the Sierra Leoneans. But for the most part, when it comes to the Sahel region, Senegal, Gambia, Burkina, all those areas, they don't listen to that. You know, like I try to play some hip hop, you know, the Black American music. I try to play some hip hop. The people were not feeling it. I was like, all right. They wanted to hear, you know, some of the Nigerian people, I didn't even know these people. I started learning about them. Like Burna Boy, this man can sing. This man can rap. Seriously. And they have another one, Davido. These people are very entertaining. And I didn't hear one killing in their song. I said, now we're talking. Now we're talking. Now we can teach the blacks on how to entertain without killing each other. Let's continue.
Fashion.
Yeah.
Fashion is like if you go anywhere else in the world, you're gonna see some kind of American culture in it.
Yeah,
definitely.
So I find it crazy that people say they don't got no culture.
That's what I'm saying. Like, what do you mean by
Right.
that? Like, what you
Yeah, when I think of culture, I usually think of certain aspects like food, language, dance and art.
Shout out to Supergirl, the best. She's the best moderator on this YouTube street. Thank you for the $4.99. People, please make sure you contribute to the Afridamosville project here. The work that I'm doing here, this is a saintly work. Agree with me. Because you see, this information that I'm bringing to you, I took the time. I investigated it. I am not just here to say things just for the hell of it. It might sound entertaining to some of you, but sometimes you got to make it light. And also, I want my black listeners to digest it, because the blacks love entertainment, and I gotta make it entertaining for them. You can't go wrong with people getting entertained and receiving the information at the same time. You see? So, Supergirl, thank you very much for the $4.99. This is definitely, this is going to a good place. This would be used at the Afridamusville, where in this very short future, people would soon start being able to visit the Afridamusville. The Kia, welcome to the show. The Kia said Sierra Leone is pretty much like Gambia. Actually got into African music due to visits to Sierra Leone. Dikio, you're right about that. You're right. You're absolutely correct about that. Let's see. You guys know I like to read, the comments. Just be one said, it's crazy. An African can come to America and say he American, but my family being here forever, and I'm African. You all lost your crazy. You're crazy. Just be one. I don't know what's going on with you. If you were born and raised in America, ma'am, you are an American. You are an American. They have this thing called dual citizenship. Why would I pass that up? You see, most people complain about the advantages that most other people, take, simply just walk in and take. But if you don't feel American, I cannot help you. Oh, I know what can help you feel American. Try apple pie. Try apple pie. If you've never felt American, please walk to the store right now or drive to the store, get you a piece of apple pie and put it in the oven. Tell me you do not feel American, because you're not going to find apple pie anywhere. Okay? You are not going to find apple pie tasting like it tastes in America anywhere. So you might want to visit that. You are not African. You are not. You have the American guitar playing in your heart, in your chest, not the African drums.
Music, and each one of those categories, I can name something specific to Black Americans that they have contributed in one way or the other. That's specific.
People don't make their marketing schemes based off what Black people would buy or watch.
I mean, that's true. So when I hear people say that, it's crazy. And even when I hear like African parents say that, it very much sounds like the same rhetoric that a white person would tell their kids. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, don't marry that Black guy. Like, he's rap.
All right. You see, now, Blacks, you got to learn this. Let's see. Abdullah Wasami ain't gone. Abdullah Wasami said, I'm getting kicked out. Abdullah Wasami, I don't know why you're getting kicked out of the chat. I can read your chat right now. But you see, people, now you are learning that it is not about race. He's like, oh, they sound like the white people. You see, if it's me, I would be smart enough to be like, okay, why? These people are from Africa. The principle is like the white people, and these white people are religious. These Africans are religious. How come these people share the same belief about, character? They are making it about skin color because TV said so. You guys have seen the president of the United States telling the Blacks, if you don't vote for me, you ain't Black. And the Blacks felt guilty because they want to defend their Blackness, not realizing that's not what people operate by. Look, I have tried to show many Blacks the secret because, I love the Blacks. Trust me. There are crazy Blacks in America, but some of the coolest people you would meet in America are Black people. I'm not saying as a group. I don't want to deceive you, but some of my friends, they are Black. But as a group, see, when people start trying to make me feel guilty, to make it seem like I should have problem with white people because they have problem with white people, now you and I cannot, associate. If you have a problem because you see a Black man with a white woman, you don't know what's going on between these people. You know, the blacks like to say, oh, the whites don't know how to cook. The whites don't put salt. Some of the best restaurants in America is owned by white people. Or they would say the blacks, they culturally appropriated frying chicken. That's a white thing. The Irish. You know the old man, Colonel Sanders, the white American? He's the best chicken frying guy in the world. You can find people, I'm talking about Talibans, all the way in Afghanistan, enjoying Colonel Sanders' chicken. But yet, the blacks would tell us the whites can cook. You see? I'm like, why you gotta put the white people down? You just show me what you got. You don't need to put the other people down for you to feel great. You see? Look at Abdullah Wasami said, Sanders stole that fried chicken. Whoever he stole it from, whoever he stole that chicken from, they better come out and prove to us that they can do it better than Colonel Sanders. Hey, let me tell you something. People, you know, I've never told you this. I am a great cook. I can cook plazas. I can cook peanut butter like there is no tomorrow. If someone comes out and steals my recipe, you think I'm going to be like, oh, no, they are the best? No. Because I invented, not the whole thing. I improvised it. You see, I improvised. So that's what the world is all about. You don't need to invent it, but you can improvise. So let's allow these people, so far they're telling us their grievances. This is what we know Black culture to be today. Complaining about what other people don't accept about what they do. You see, instead of look, you think if I'm not breaking the law, I'm not doing anything. You have a problem with my culture, how I live it. I'm not doing anything illegal. You think I care about your perception of my culture? I could care less because you are not my competition. Nobody is. I'm just living my life. If you live your life that way, you would be free. I'm not here to tell you what you want to hear. I'm just telling you facts. Personal accountability, develop discipline, have dignity for yourself. But if you don't, you're going to end up like a dog chasing its own tail. Imagine that.
They ghetto, this, that, and the third, like, you know what I mean? Like, so it's crazy to hear other Black people, not just Black Americans, but just Black people in general, have that type of rhetoric towards each other.
I think it's also how the white people portray Black Americans. So that's why people from other countries looking at it like, oh, that's how they look.
They got lazy motherfuckers too.
I'm just saying. No, what you was gonna say, I wanted to talk about that actually, because
look, let me debunk the lie that I've even heard some Ghanaian woman told on a show. I know there's not all, but some of these Ghanaians and Nigerians, they want to play this game, this racial game. But, let's be real. Are they playing games with some of the blacks? Like I've heard a woman say, oh, the white people say, oh, you African don't interact with the blacks. Why would white people even care? I've shown up here as an immigrant. No white person has ever told me don't interact with Black people. How would that even make sense? White people are more, from experience, are more fascinated with your accent, where you're from, the beauty of your skin. Black people make fun of your accent and they talk about how dark your skin is in a negative way. Obviously, we know Black people are obsessed with skin color. So nobody can, this is the thing. When people come and try to be upset at me, tell me what I've said that is such a lie. Hey, you can accuse me of everything except lying. You can say, I don't like what he's saying. It hurts my feelings because I'm so fragile, because I believed my mama, I believed my teachers, I believed that white politician who wants me to adopt this victimhood so they can take advantage of my naivete. And then you walking around here talking about, I'm black and proud. It's not paying your bill. Next thing you know, before you know it, you are 35, short hair, a butch, or a lesbian with that nose ring, talking about, oh, I am a Fulani. Now, oh, this is what Africans do. Oh, you know what? I'm now African spirituality, lighting up incense in their apartment. They go to Ross or Etsy and buy, one of those colorful shirts. They call it dashiki, and say now they are Africans. A shirt, a drum. That's what dictates to them what African is. Somebody have lied to you. I'm just here to give you the real. That's all. I'm not here to make you feel any type of way. And most of you Africans, when you play white liberal, acting like you're feeling sorry for the blacks, you're not helping them. Just tell the blacks the truth. Trust me, a lot of the blacks can take the truth. They have been misled. So still, they have not answered what their culture is. They said hip hop, right? But at this point, they are just talking about what other people do not accept. See, when you find yourself in the defensive position, you should look deep down inside of you. Look, there's no way for you to conquer the outside if you can't even conquer yourself. You have to first conquer you to try to conquer other people. This is true.
I think I know when I do talk to Africans, they usually have like I said, negative stigma towards Black Americans, but that's because of what we've been taught. Like, I'm not gonna lie, growing up, our schools and the media have never told us anything positive about Africa. Like, you get what I'm saying? It's has always been negative. Like, since I was growing up, every media thing was, and they portrayed Africa as having like the kids with the flowers on their face and send 25 cents to support. It wasn't until, I'm gonna be honest with you, it wasn't until I went to Africa. Like, I went to Uganda, Palissa. I went to Palissa and Kampala. When I went to Palissa, it was very much a poor city. But when I went to Kampala, bro, it was like being in Manhattan. I could not believe this shit because they never portrayed that on the media. Like, you get what I'm saying? So
I know they be making it look like we're like,
so look, I told you guys the story. Like growing up, I didn't have stable electricity, not electricity, but I was really into movies. Do you think I did not use my common sense to know like the whole world doesn't operate like me? I had that common sense. You guys don't think we had TV? We watched TV too. We did watch TV. So, but I found it weird when I came to America. Most of the people, they don't know the reality to separate. They don't know how to separate reality from what they are seeing on TV. Even if, when you meet Black people in America, this was my experience. They hear an accent. This used to, before the internet age, they would ask you things like, oh, did you used to have your own pet lion? And I'm like, do you have a pet bear? They're like, no. I said, they have bears, tons of bears here in the wild. So if you don't have a wild animal that is found in your country, why would I have a wild? Why do you expect an African, just because lions exist in Africa, any African can have a lion pet, but you don't have a bear pet? There's tons of bears where I'm at here in America. Why don't you have a bear? So it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make any sense. You see? And the reality of it is, when you try to speak in terms of what makes sense, it is really hard for the, for the people to understand. So when they say Africa, I'm like, what part are you talking about? Because I don't like lazy conversations. When I was in high school, I took geography from a young age, before even high school. So I cannot give somebody a pass by being geographically ignorant, and then I play right into it. And the blacks in America, that's what they do. Majority, not all, but most. And then they will tell you some pseudo history, their own perception of what they think the history is. Where, for instance, you go to the school, imagine being a 13, 14, 15-year-old. You are one of those white liberals named Susie. Oh, Tyrone, you did so good. Because Tyrone was able to know the answer to 1 + 1. He is 16. If he doesn't know that by now, what is going on? So somebody is deliberately making these people dumb. And I told you, I worked in the prison. I could not believe the type of ignorance I have encountered. They make these kids feel like, oh, Tyrone, you're fine. But the moment they are 18, guess what? They act on that ignorance. They're going straight to the pen. So that's why I said they have been set up. So the guys, they get set up, they get sent to the pen, or they become gay or transgender. The women, they go out and harass white people and anybody else they are jealous of. This is what is promoted even by the United States government itself. They promote baby killing. Now, you saw the black women, out there saying they are fighting. Literally, you are being convinced to fight against your own nature. Killing babies. They're in the forefront. Who pushed them to do this? Margaret Sanger, the white woman, liberal, is probably dancing in her grave as we speak. Because that was supposed to be used to self-destruct. So in America, the culture has become self-destruction. Self-destruction. And we're seeing who is leading that self-destruction.
Y'all look amazing.
That's what I'm saying. They make us look
Like,
like we're so poor, or like I don't know.
Right.
They just make it look so bad. But like you gotta really go there to like experience, like know like
Everything
what's really
comes
going
from
on.
Africa. Even the resources that America uses, it's all from Africa. Oil,
the
gold.
richest continent with the most natural resources.
Yeah.
Okay, Africans and blacks need to stop telling themselves these lies, talking about all the resources are from Africa. That is not true. You need to Google this. A lot of these things, Russia is among the number one producers of oil and gas. Saudi Arabia, all these places that are number one, they are not Africa. Yes, there are many African countries that have minerals, but America does not depend on Africa. Let's just be real. Let's just be real. America uses 60% of the world's resources. If you say Africa, name the country that has all the resources that America needs. Why don't you name the country that is giving America the most energy in Africa? It's not there. So let's not, play that game. So obviously, these people are going by emotions. The second generation, both American group, they don't know what the hell they're talking about. They have no idea.
Yeah. So like I said, is this the conditioning that we've seen even from y'all side? I'm pretty sure all y'all see is negative stereotypes about black people. They rob, they do this, that, and the third, they criminals. So like I said, we just need to get outside of our bubble and be able to experience different cultures and not be able to have that divisiveness, because unfortunately I do see it with, I'm not even going to say just specific to Africans or black Caribbeans. Black people have the same thing. Like we stereotype Africans and Caribbeans all the time. So
but black Americans get shitted on the most, because like Caribbean people, there's African people, any other other culture people, they attack black Americans. They be like, oh, you lazy because you got the opportunity and y'all come out.
You see the type of words they use. We get attacked, people hate us, like, because if you're looking at someone, this person like I'm looking at opportunity. I want to go to work. You're born and raised here. The culture, you don't need to learn it. You live here. You want to come and complain to me about what you can't do? I'm doing it. You think I want to hear that? Like, I don't care about that. I'm not trying to hear this. Like, that's how people are looking at it. So when you come complaining, acting a victim, it's like, hey, how hard is it? Like, just get your job, go do your thing. That's what I'm doing. And some will say, oh, like I've heard some who literally they would brag. They would literally brag about, oh, they hire Africans because, we tell them like it is. Let's see, LK here. LK, thank you for the 10 pounds super chat. He said, Jamaican reggae / dancehall in 1940s, 60s, Afro-Cuban San Ruber have had a bigger influence in Africa than hip-hop culture, which is mostly an urban trend. I love Ada's music, but let's be factual. Thank you, LK. LK, you understand, the facts. Thank you for the super chat. So this guy here, the guy that's braided, he is right. He said you have to be open-minded and learn. He said most Black people definitely need to do that. Africans right in there. Have you ever met like a black woman? She's all into you, and then she finds out you're African, and they're like, "Oh, I don't F with Africans." But the same person, when they see a white person, they will say, "Oh, I'm African." So we see this hypocrisy, and for me, right, I don't trust a hypocrite. I do not. And when I see people standing by a group and they promote hypocrisy, how can you trust that? You cannot. There's no way to trust a hypocrite, because a hypocrite would turn against you. They will. Look, I've observed Black people, where they are friends with some white person, quote unquote, and I watch them turn on the white person for silly things. And I'm always cautious. I'm like, if they flip on those people, they're going to flip on me. And I'm not attributing this to every Black person, but I've seen it enough to know how to move. And I'm sure you have too.
I'm out here and y'all take advantage of the opportunity, but y'all got to understand that Black Americans was like lost 400 years of oppression. Like, we deserve so much more than what we get.
But yeah, I do feel like Africans do get made fun of a lot. Like in school,
I was about to say that.
I got made fun of a lot. Like I got bullied for being African.
That can also.
Oh, let me correct it. So the woman with the hair from Lisa from Coming to America 1, you guys remember Lisa? She had this hairdo. So she's African. So I've heard many of these where they say, oh yeah, they got made fun of. Africans do get made fun of. Let's just be real, people. Let's not come here and start, acting like, oh no, we are all good. Look, I'm the type, right? It doesn't matter. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will not affect me. I have done that video. You can go look at it from far back. I kept it real. Generally, not all, but for the most part, if you are African, a Black American, generally, is more likely to make fun of you. And I never take it personal. I never did. Because I don't see it as it's against me. When somebody is trying to be hurtful to you, they are not hurting you. They themselves are the ones hurting. They feel insecure. So they are projecting that onto you. And I always see it. Like one time, this Black guy said to me, he's mixed, right? He says to me, oh man, try to make fun of. He's like, man, you are so dark. I said, I'm not a mixed person like you. I'm a straight African. How did you expect me to have looked if I'm pure African? I said, you are mixed, right? I said, you look mixed to me. And he admitted his mom is white. I said, how, if you are not real black, how can you make fun of a real black person? Later on, he said to me, you know, I never thought about that. But you see, some people would just be like, because of the way they feel about themselves. If someone's, because I see black people, they make fun of dark-skinned people amongst they themselves. They call each other African, Buddhist, scratch, and they call anything African. Majority of the time when it comes to the blacks, let's be honest, they degrade it. They don't uplift it. If white people uplift it, they will. But if it's African, oh, they would laugh at you. Just watch even the movies. You know, you will see the roles, the African roles they make because of how they see themselves. You know, so they feel like they have power now over the Africans. The way they treat Africans tells you how they see themselves in that black skin. This is why they would say to you, oh, you don't want to be black? What do you mean? Is being black a disease? Why is that important to point out? Or they would say, other people would see you as black. You don't think I know this? Why would that be a problem? You know, have you ever thought about that? Why would that be a problem? That's because you see that skin color as a problem. I don't see my skin color as a problem, not a factor. If someone is an asshole, I don't think they're an asshole because of my skin color. Even if that's the reason, that reason is eating them alive, not me. Because guess what? The only thing that is guaranteed for me is to stay black and pay taxes till I die. That's what's factual. All right, here, this is, I think it looks like a Somali writing or Russian. I can't read this, but thank you for the $4.99. He said, rhythm and blues and jazz inspired and influenced the founding fathers of reggae, ska, Afrobeats. That's just factual. Thank you. You guys see, I want everyone to participate because it's different knowledges that we're dropping here. But in all honesty, be an individual, because I'm about to show you a video after this that shows you what it's like being an individual. It's not about race. When you stand up for what is true, when people want to promote a lie, you stand up against them, they have nothing to say to you because it's fake. It's not real. Today in America is fake outrage. You cannot tell me you are going to go on the streets and protest that it is your right to murder babies inside of you and then come back and expect me to take you serious. To me, you're an evil individual. It's, you know, like you want to celebrate this. That's what you're seeing today in America, promoted by the American government. By the American government. You go look on TV and people are pretending like they don't see this. They promote things that are evil. Like they say, you guys remember the love guru guy, the black guy, Kevin Samuels? Imagine in some cultures, I can't imagine in Gambia, our culture, you know, like several cultures, somebody dying and people coming out openly celebrating that. That's an abomination. In America, the black women are doing this. If that is not scary, that's Satan's daughters. Go read in the scriptures what it's not really them. It is the spirit, that evil spirit that made a home in them. When I saw that, and it's not my first time, I was like, wow. Wow. And they call that the culture. Even these women here that are saying first generation, are these really Africans? Look at, they got the tattoos on their boobs and all that. Now they are embedded in that culture. So this is no longer mainstream to most, I mean, from my part of Africa, maybe in Nigeria, I don't know. But my part of Africa, no, you don't see that.
Yeah, that can also create the animosity
towards
Yeah.
the
Black
animosity
Americans
that's
because the
everywhere.
bullying, like your name and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Definitely the
My name is
name.
so hard to say. To
Right, that's what I'm
Yeah,
saying. Yeah,
I
even
don't
class people like, oh,
use-
your name Law. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Or like
African booty scratching.
Yeah,
right.
Imagine if I came to y'all school, I probably would have. It was the same thing because I'd have been the oddball out of the whole class. That's what
but
happens.
why would a American come to Africa?
But you know, the crazy thing is when American comes to Africa, they don't look at it like you guys are like
because
weird.
I personally
They
lived
look
in
at
Africa.
it like, oh my
Everybody
God.
was welcoming to like every other.
So imagine coming from America, how much advantage that gives you. Most black people in America, they go out of their way, not even realizing how much power they have. They go out of their way to be victims. Even in Africa, they want to sell victimhood to Africans just to feel good. Imagine somebody fighting to be a victim. That's crazy. That's crazy. Matifi, thank you for the €5. Let's all drop some. Thank you, Matifi. Thank you. So these people, literally, if you look at it, the way they are thinking about the whole cultural thing is kind of out there. Let's allow this. Let's hear their response. He's gonna call it a culture. There's a reason why I'm playing this video.
The culture.
Yeah.
So is when I came here, that's when they started like.
I'm not gonna lie, we didn't know no better. And as y'all can see, our school system sucks. You get what I'm saying? And then we coming, all we know, we joke on each other. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure y'all wasn't the only. We joke on my best friend mama. You know what I'm saying? I gotta go eat food at her crib. So it's a part of our culture to make fun of stuff that may be serious, but to make the light out of it.
Did you guys hear that? From the horse's mouth. He said it's part of their culture to make fun of things that are serious. At least he's explaining, right? He's explaining. And many of you see that. That's fine. If that's your culture, you can practice that amongst yourself. But when you are out of that, don't you think you should know, like, not everyone practices your culture? I understand that not everyone understand what my culture is. That's why when you go somewhere, you learn about different people. I do not expect people to understand my culture. I'm not going to assume how, just because the way we do things, this is universal to everyone. So in America, like this man is explaining, you will encounter this with a lot of black people. It's like a juvenile way of thinking. They would say things and you don't go for it. You don't get it. They're like, aren't you black? Like when I worked in prison, they was, aren't you black? I'm enforcing the law. They're like, aren't you black? I'm like, what's that have to do with anything? So that means because they are criminals, they are assuming because I'm black, therefore I should dabble in the criminality. I should understand their criminality. That is like a child. If you look at an experiment, a child, right? Watch this. A child that's less than 2 years old, a child that sits. If they're playing with something, just take it, right? Cover it. They will not understand that item is still there. They will not know because you could cover it. If they don't see it, they would think it just disappeared. Just like that. They're fascinated. So a child cannot differentiate that he or she, their world, because a child's world is smaller. So when you take a child out of their world, whatever world you bring them in, they think everybody else should be like their parent. So you would see this quite a bit, where like the blacks, they would say things they think is their culture. Just because you're black, you should identify. If you're not, then you are not hip, or you're just a white person. So I'm glad he's saying this, and I want you guys to take note of it. Culture is not a race thing. It's not a race thing. In your culture, if you don't take serious things serious, you make fun of it, why would you be surprised if other people don't take you serious and they don't want to bring you into serious things because they want to be safe, right? That makes sense. We have, thank you for the 199. I guess both Africans and African Americans suffer identity crisis. You might be correct there. I've heard so many Africans also online who suffer from identity crisis. Again, this comes from homes, from parents. If you don't know where you're coming from, you won't know where you're going. The world is not just black and white. You cannot just outsource the mind of your children to complete strangers. But in America, that's the thing. You have a child, from this child is little. Every day you're going to work because you're an independent woman, right? Dropping them with strangers, you call it daycare. Or they spend a lot of time in school or in front of TV. How do you expect those kids to have any principle? It's passed on from their parents. Everything is entertaining. So when you meet other people where people are serious about life, it's going to create a conflict. And why are you shocked by that?
That's where we come from.
I agree with that. Like I got caught. I'm not even gonna hold you. I got caught saying that African booty scratchers just because it was just that's what the people were saying. Like I didn't know no better. Like I thought that was a joke, but it wasn't even like I was trying to just violate. It was just like said that's part of our culture. We roast everybody. Like I don't roast these niggas in the school. You just roast everybody, and that's because that's part of our culture. And Africans don't necessarily know that because obviously they have their own culture. So they looking at it like
he's generalizing. Said Africans don't know that. There are some Africans from other countries that know about the roasting. I know about the blacks they're roasting. I have roasted many, many blacks. I can do the roasting with the blacks. So I happen to be someone that can do the roasting with them. But don't expect that you're gonna meet another person just simply that they're from Gambia. You know, you're like, oh, because Afridamus can roast with me, all Gambians can. No, you have to treat people as individuals. That's the smart way of living your life. But this group thing only makes you weaker. It makes you look dumb.
More respect.
Yeah, they looking at it as, oh, that's super disrespectful. When we looking at it like, yo, it's just a joke. It's really not that deep. Like,
we'll hug it out after a joke.
Yeah,
you just can't say SMD. That's it.
But have you guys noticed, right? The blacks, they say they like roasting, fun, having jokes. But it cannot be a roast session or joking session if it's not two ways. I mean, let's be real. The blacks are super sensitive. The things blacks say about white people, can white people say the same thing? You cannot call it a joke if the person returns the favor and you feel insulted. That means you are just a coward and a weak person who wanted to insult the person, but you don't have the audacity to do it. You did it in a joke form. That's the truth. Because if it's a joke, you should be able to take the joke back. It shouldn't be called a racism. You guys remember Tariq Nasheed and the Somalis? He's saying they smell like cheetah pea. But the Somalis talked to facts, real facts, and they made joke out of it. And what did the blacks do? They cried victim. They ran, oh, these Somalis are racist. They didn't say Somalis. They said Africans. This is how they've always thought about us. So the things you said, is that how you've always thought about the Africans? So it's not a joke if you yourself, you're not receiving it as a joke. If it's a joke, it has to go both ways. You should be, if you tell me a joke about me, you know, and I go, ha, 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 that is a joke. But when I give you the same joke, you should be saying, ha, 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 instead of saying, oh, you all hate us. No, I'm talking to you. How did this become y'all? Whose voice am I speaking in? You talk to me and I'm talking to you. Now, all of a sudden, I'm speaking for every African. And now this, joke that I repeated, this is towards every black person, that's weakness. This is what they are teaching in America. And you look ridiculous expressing it. Imagine a grown man. You said you're a grown man. You're whining and crying. You know, this is not normal. This is not normal. For a grown man to just be crying and angry. This is why people, you think people are making fun of you because it's abnormal. Oh, that's why you see other people, right? If you look around, you don't see other people doing it. If you look around, other people are saying certain things you don't like because that's what they see. This is the truth. Most people that come to America, first they look up to Black Americans until they learn the truth. They know they cannot copy Black Americans' work ethic. They know that that's not what majority is known for. Most of the ones you meet, they complain about jobs, they cry about it, you see it online. You're like, look, I'm trying to make it. I don't want to, I'm not, you talking about you trying to sue the restaurant. Like, I go to the restaurant, you say those restaurants are racist. I go to the restaurant, I have no problem. Why every time you go there, you have a problem? You see what I'm saying? That's things you got to think about. All right, this person here says, I think Ja Nazala, I'm not sure. Thank you for the 499 super chat again. He said, the enemies of Black people are united against us. Yet we continue to fight amongst ourselves over nothing. We need to love, unite in reconciliation. We need love, unity, and reconciliation. What is this love and unity based off of? That's what I've always been asking. People just say this as if they're in a trance. Anytime I ask the question, what are we uniting on? Nobody can ever answer it. Because if you say flat blackness, I don't see anything there that entices me to want to give up who I am to be that. You have to sell me something. You can't just say black. That means absolutely nothing to me. Because you're selling a position to me for me to feel like I'm being hunted, I'm a victim, but you don't know my mindset. You're trying to get me to be a victim. If you're being hunted, what are you doing about it? That is my mentality. But if you're trying to shame me, that tells me you don't really have a footing to stand on. You're trying to manipulate me. That's all. Just like the white liberals are trying to manipulate you to be a victim.
I never understood that. Getting to my next topic, I want to talk about bleaching and specifically African cultures and the Caribbean cultures as well. Why do y'all think that's such a...
Here we go. There are people that bleach, right, in these countries. But see, that is not a culture. I remember as a child, this skin bleaching thing, the preachers, they preach against this. This is an abomination. When I was growing up, self-respecting women, people from good families did not bleach their skin. So it is when they say African, no, say some people in those countries bleach their skin. Where did that come from? Where did that come from? What are these people thinking? But the way they present it as if the whole country, the whole continent of Africa is bleaching their skin. No, there are people that bleach, that do that. It's not all. It's not even the majority. It is not even the majority. That is the truth. But again, most of these people, especially, they have these big podcasts. They have no problem, displaying their ignorance. If Black people in America, honestly, if they want to be taken seriously, they have to stop being lazy. Instead of just saying Africa, learn the countries, learn the region. Seriously, because if you say Africa, somebody's in South Africa. I'm from Gambia, West Africa. I live closer I live closer to New York than to South Africa. Completely different culture, completely different, language. So if you want to engage me in a serious conversation, you would have to quit being lazy, to try to convince me that Africa is a country. Take the time and learn about the countries and know the difference. But because this is how you were taught, you want me to conform to a lie, because that's what it is. Because it's convenient for you to create this fantasy. Now I have to do this. So this is why Africans, you need to wake up. You need to wake up. Some of you are buying into this delusion. Especially some of you Nigerians, buying into this, trying to shame South Africans into letting you in, and other people to let you come and ravage their country. And not all Nigerians, but when people are doing this, is usually criminal-minded people that do this to people to shame them into accepting that they are all the same. Now you guys understand why I say people are individuals. You have to be an individual if you want to win. Be the example you want to see in the world. Why would I identify with weakness and victimhood? Try to collaborate with people who think being a victim is the best thing since sliced bread. I can't even identify with that. If I ever feel like a victim, I'll just pack my bags and fly right back to Gambia, and if I have to complain in a foreign land, then I am the weakest link ever. If that ever crosses my mind, I would just pack my stuff and go back to where I came from. Plain and simple. It is a sad thing.
A thing. Like I've seen African people sell bleaching cream. Caribbean people do the same thing. Why do you think that's such a big deal in like these countries and stuff like that?
Because of the media.
Yeah, it's definitely just social media. Advertised that like being lighter is like more beautiful. So everybody just wants to be like the standard.
Yeah.
But where are they getting that? Where are they getting that from? Like, are you saying the media? But what is it like? Black men?
Yeah,
black men.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It might be like the Europeans, basically, what they
because
show,
they prefer.
Look, it is not any European. It is not anyone. It's how you see yourself. Again, that lack of responsibility. Look, how is that a European's fault? You sat there, you said you admire the European. If that's the reason why you're bleaching your skin, then you are an idiot. So don't put this on Europeans. Again, you see how the victimhood rolls? These people totally, when it's convenient, they believe that they don't need to take responsibility. You're the one making the choice. Nobody is making you, bleach your skin. Plain and simple. It's just like the people that go and commit crimes, selling drugs, and they face the repercussion or commit murders, and then they want to talk about, oh, it's other people's fault. What are you, a machine, a zombie, an idiot? What are you? You can't think for yourself? This is the type of questions people should be asking. But instead, they just let this, it's the white people. Really? The white people? The white people? But then when you say you think the white people are superior to you, they argue the point. But when it comes to taking responsibility, it's the white people's fault. I'm just calling it like it is. Plain and simple. I am entirely in charge of my own life. I do not outsource, my life to other people. I don't do that. It would be a travesty if you hear me talk about, it is the white people's fault because I failed at certain endeavors. Like why? You're supposed to take responsibility for your own life. This person said, Afridamus defends Europeans when they are the ones who created this Eurocentric beauty standards. They own the medias which project this. Oh, I'm defending Europeans. I'm not defending Europeans, mind you. I have been watching European movies, Indian movies, and other movies from the time I was a child. Mind you, I wasn't born in the 1860s, okay? But think about it. Imagine me behaving a certain way. I bleach my skin. And I say it's because, I watched this Chuck Norris movie. Now I want to be like Chuck Norris. No, I want to look like Chuck Norris. Wouldn't you call me an idiot? You should want to be you. You should love you. That's the remedy to victimhood. But if you don't love yourself and you allow these things to happen, you have no one to blame but yourself. That means you are just a weak-minded person who just falls for anything. That means you need the Afridamus report more than anyone, because this is the type of conversations you need. I get it. Most of you have never heard someone talk like this. Look, there's videos online. I'm going to bring that here. Especially like, in America, right? The black women have more power than the black men. Seriously, they do. There is videos online, right? You will see where these young black women, they would call the police on their father. They don't care about no black man. You should hear how they talk about their fathers. I've seen it in real life. How even their moms talk about the father. The men are belittled. There is no structure. So you look at that. That's what is called a culture, right? So that's the true culture. I've seen it. You cannot correct these people. Not at all. Even the government is not going to allow you to correct these behaviors. Seriously, they're not going to allow you, because obviously people want to mislead you about the truth. Imagine you're sitting there, you're losing sleep over, quote unquote, somebody appropriating a culture because some Hollywood person says it, or some fat lesbian who is at some liberal, LGBTQ news place, who is upset because, they cannot stop eating. They cannot go to the gym. They can, but they choose not to. Mind you, these beefs are all the way from school. All the way. High school. You have the fat lesbians who are jealous of the other white girls. So when these white girls eventually they become famous, or the white men, they become famous, these ogres, these victimhood people, mental people, they write these papers because they have their black minions who would sound the alarm bell. Because you know how they wear that tight spandex? They try to popularize it in America. One of those spandex where you have those fit women, they wear them around America. Well, in the black community, there's no standard. You see a woman, look, Lizzo is going to wear that spandex when she has no business wearing it, right? She comes out, she traumatizes the community. You see the same thing. Many black women, they walk around in those those tight spandex. People who have no business wearing this. They don't, these people don't go to the gym whatsoever. And they're not only coming out with the spandex, they're wearing shower caps on top of that. This doesn't seem weird to you? Now that explains why people like Flavor Flav used to come out with clocks on their neck. This is what people are calling a culture. Imagine you're walking down the street regularly, someone with a clock on their neck, a big clock, just for the hell of it, not for entertainment. This is not normal, right? So we have to call it out. It's not like picking on people. So these people are shocked to see like people see this stuff as not a good culture.
Lighter skinned
No,
women.
you know how they would say like dark skinned
Women
people
are
are
angry.
outside and then the lighter skinned people are inside. It just, you know,
Yeah.
they make it seem superior.
And not even that, they
So
say like dark skinned women are angry and then light skinned
yeah,
women
it's
are
just
more
the negative
soft
connotation.
and like
I mean, as a light skinned guy, I keep hearing that I'm pussy.
It's kind of like that. It's both ways towards both
to be
genders. Yeah.
honest.
Yeah. Have you ever felt pressured? Like we could be honest here. You ever felt pressure to like lighten your skin?
yeah,
Of
definitely.
course.
Really?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Especially growing up in America.
I'm
Right.
happy y'all did. Y'all look lovely chocolate.
Thank you.
Yeah, especially, you know, like we were just talking about how Black Americans like bully or whatever. Yeah, a lot of them be like, oh yeah, African booty scratcher, you're Black. Like,
Yeah, no,
when they turn off the
literally.
light, oh, we can't see you. Like,
You're
where
right.
did you go?
Or they used to call me
Like,
a
where did you
bitch.
go? Like, I can only see your eyes, I can only see your teeth. Like,
Y'all
like that.
niggas don't know what's real worth. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, you
saying.
don't know
And
it
then
until
the
you
funny
don't.
thing is, like now everybody's trying.
Yeah,
yeah,
fuck
be
with
on
all the
that.
African.
Like,
No,
listening to our music,
We
wearing
know
our
better
clothes.
now.
Uh-huh.
That chocolate.
Melanin is much more
Melanin.
appreciated now. But do y'all see that from do African men? Do they perpetuate the same type of colorism, or is it just like a black?
Yeah,
they-
definitely.
Okay. I would think that like Africans, like, you know, in Africa, obviously most people look like them. Like, it's not like in America where 90% of the population is white dominated. Like in Africa, most of the people in Africa look like y'all. So I wouldn't think there would be a colorism thing over
But
there
when
as
you
much.
see, since most of the people are dark or whatever and all look the same, when there's that, few light skinned people, it's like, they're
They're
rare.
Okay, here's the problem. You second generation Africans, the uncle babies, whatever, if you're born in England or these Western countries, stop trying to explain the African dynamics. You do not have a clue. Most people that I have seen, even in Africa, when I was growing up there, that bleach their skin, I'm just keeping it real. It's not because they really feel like they want to be white whatsoever. These people have no contact with white people. Certainly from Gambia or wherever, they don't see themselves as white like these people are thinking. They have no interest in it, but for some reason they just want to, lighten their skin. Have you ever thought about it? Maybe they want to look like Arab. Have you ever thought about that? But because in America, they're obsessed with white. Like you would see people tell you, you just want to be, white. What makes you think I would want to be white? I love me. I love being me. Other people love being themselves. But again, it's projection. Because you are telling me, when you say you want to be white, you're telling me you don't have a foundation. You don't have roots. To you, it makes sense for somebody to believe they are white when they are not. Like, I'm not confused. I'm not crazy. Like, I'm not going to wake up and be like, oh, I feel like a man. It's no different than a woman waking up saying they feel like a man, or a man saying they feel like a woman. How is that any different? So literally, you are telling me you are not sure of who you are. So therefore, like, I would never look at a black person and say, you do know you're black, right? Nah. Even if the person is talking like Clayton Bixby, you guys remember the Dave Chappelle skit? The blind, the black blind KKK guy, person who thought, who didn't know he was black because they put him in the blind school. So they told him he was white. Then he realized he was black when they told him he divorced his white wife. He said, because she's a nigger lover. You guys remember that? So there are people who are brainwashed like that. So unless you are Clayton Bixby, you're blind. When you come and tell me, you don't know that you're black, that means you are questioning your own blackness. And these guys are acting like bleaching is only unique to Africans. Michael Jackson is the most famous bleached man in this world. He popularized that. He changed from being a black boy to an Asian woman. Literally. I remember when he was Jackson 5, up to when he did the Thriller and all. Next thing I know, I was like, I didn't see Michael Jackson in a couple years. When I saw him again, I was like, wow, who's the Asian woman They said, oh no, that's Michael Jackson. I said, what? Oh Lord. The blacks are right. I said, these white people have taken Michael Jackson, put him in a machine, turn him into an Asian woman. They are like, no, he did it himself. I was like, oh, that's a relief. Anyways, let's continue.
Like they're beautiful, like stuff like that. So that'll make other black women in Africa want to go look like them, so they can get the men, because the men chase after the lighter people.
Another thing I want to mention.
That's not true. She's lying. She's lying. All right. Ja Nazala, thank you again for another $4.99. He said, your beef seems to be more with liberalism. I myself, I'm a black conservative. So many things I do agree with you. Liberalism is destroying African American culture. You're right in that aspect. Absolutely. I'm glad you're seeing it, because they are the ones. Think about it. Think about how the answers these guys are given. Who taught them these answers? They are confused.
True is on the last show we had women talk about makeup, specifically in the wigs and the BBLs, and they often try to say, well, we don't do it for men, we do it for ourselves. So just like y'all said about the bleaching, a lot of the times is for, not saying it's necessarily for a man, but y'all take that into consideration a lot when y'all do bleach our skin. So why do women have a hard time admitting that they do certain things for a man? And I just thought of this shit, like, because you just said literally, because of the men.
I think that's the same. I think for the most part, BBLs and stuff like that, like.
So I bet you this chick that put those now they walk around, right? As you can see, they put that, the cow ring on their nose. I bet you they would say, oh, that's African. They put the cow ring in their nose. Because you see, they all came out. They wanted to be Mrs. Medusa, the movie from Medusa. They all want to be that. Like when Beyonce, you guys remember Beyonce, Jay-Z's wife, Mrs. Z, she did that thing. It's like they did this play, right, where Beyonce was dressed in this, they call it, it's a pagan, European pagan thing, and she tried to call it African. So they try to mislead the people, and say, oh, this is now the African culture. So these women here, just simply their parents being African, they want to claim that they're Africans, and they would say the cow ring is from Africa. Yes, it's from Africa, but we use it on cows, not human beings. You see? Not on humans, on cows. But let's go.
I feel like it could be.
I don't think it's for the men. It's more for like just fitting in. Like everybody wants to like be the standard. Everybody just wants to.
So you can compete.
Yeah, basically.
Well, man.
All right. So this is about to turn into the love zone conversation, but we're not going to get there. Now, guys, I'm going to give you the meat and the potatoes of the show. The meat and the potatoes of the show. So I'm about to play a video here. There's a guy named Chet Hanks, Tom Hanks' son. Look, guys, Tom Hanks was in a movie. This movie is my favorite movie of all times. I have watched that movie so many times, I've even known the lines. Forrest Gump. I love Forrest Gump. I used to watch Forrest Gump all the time. Beautiful movie. Forrest Gump, Braveheart. These are the type of movies I'm into. I love that movie. Rain Man. And one of my other favorite movies is Pootie Tang. It is a black movie called Pootie Tang. Oh Mama's Foot. Okay? These are real movies. If you've never seen Pootie Tang, you should go watch Pootie Tang. Because Pootie Tang is like this pimp with, Pootie Tang is good with the belt. You have to see this movie. But Forrest Gump is one of my favorite movies of all times. I didn't even know that Tom Hanks has a son named Chet Hanks. So this Chet Hanks is a rapper, got tattoos all over himself. So Chet Hanks is being accused of cultural appropriation. And you know, nowadays when you watch on TV, all this liberal media, they put fat black women there, or depending on which channel, they would put like the super skinny ones, depending on what they're trying to promote. And these same people that culturally appropriate white people's hair, they would hypocritically sit in front of white people and demand that white people apologize to them. Just like Eminem came, when multiple platinum. Look, when I first heard Eminem, do you think I cared if Eminem is white or black? I did not care. All I cared about was, can this man rap? He's telling a story. I'm sorry, mama. I never meant to hurt you. You guys remember that song? I never meant to make you cry. You know that song? In that song, Eminem is telling a story. So you mean to tell me a man who found a way to tell his story in an entertaining way? Because to some of you think people just want to just come and rap. No, you have to have something to say. So I used to get my hood music, my hood news from the rappers that are just coming from the hood. That's what it used to be like. And it still is. It tells you how messed up or good the hood is. You guys remember 50 Cents? Get Rich or Die Trying? In that album, he told us a story of his life. So that's what rap is all about. That's what it is. You come, you figured out a way to rhyme these words, but these guys are telling you stories of their lives. That's just what it is. Let's just call it what it is. So this Chet Hanks, now he loves the Caribbean culture. Speaks like in patois, and this guy, he's pretty good at it. He's pretty good at it. But let me show you Chet Hanks when the blacks try to get him to apologize. And I would also play several of his videos so you have an idea of what type of person Chet Hanks is. I like him. I like that he stood his ground. I like that he told these people to kick rocks. But I will let you play. I'll let you hear this. The woman that I'm about to show you, even her herself, we don't know if this was a man that appropriated womanhood. It's questionable because these days you cannot tell. It's questionable. But I don't want to keep you waiting. I'll let you see for yourself and decide. And decide if this person is appropriating womanhood and then trying to get this man to apologize for being the best Jamaican ever. Because if you know there's a singer named Collie Buddz. He's a white guy. Collie Buddz, have you go listen to this song called I'm Blind to You, You Fucking Haters. Excuse my language. I've gone to this man's concert. I did not know Collie Buddz was white until I went to his show. Do you think I cared? No. The man can sing. There is several reggae singers who are white, and the Jamaicans, other people, they don't care. But now, why would black Americans in America, who don't even like reggae, by the way, mostly, to be honest, in this genre, black men don't care about this section where they wouldn't say Chet Hanks is trying to appropriate black culture. In fact, they love it. It makes them laugh. That you gotta give it to black dudes. Black dudes are most of the time, I'm not talking about the ones that try to act like they are mama. They are not insecure when it comes to that part, for sure. You gotta give that. I want to make that clear. If like Eminem, regular black dudes, they don't care that Eminem is white. They could care less. And Chet Hanks is the same way. Exactly, the Kio, UB40, UB40. Those are all, white people. But now, let's find out who has problem with this Chet Hanks. Because these people used to make fun of patois, Jamaican language. They make fun of it. Look, before I came to America, patois is like the coolest language to, especially if you're coming from Gambia. In Africa, they love it. You guys saw it. I played some of the Gambians. They sound like the Jamaicans, and some of the people started hating on them. I'm like, why are you hating on the man? If you don't know how to talk like that, leave this man alone. That's how he wants to talk. He is good at it. He sounds Jamaican to me. So this Chet Hanks did the same thing. White guy. So now some of the blacks in entertainment are upset because they are liberal fat white lesbians are upset. So they want to take Chet Hanks down. So they put these black women to come and attack him. Generally, I can assure you, if they didn't put the blacks up to this, they could care less about what I'm about to show you. You think most blacks care that some white guy want to sound Jamaican on just their own? You think they really care about that? They do not. They do not, because somebody told them to call this cultural appropriation. And it's not even their culture. But here we go. I don't want to keep you waiting. Let's hear what this brave white man, what he says to them.
Communities you want to apologize to? I don't know, maybe the patois community?
Nah. I don't feel like I've truly done anything offensive, so.
You don't see it as cultural appropriation. You see it as like a celebration of culture.
Mm-hmm.
Big up the whole island, massive. It's your boy Chetana, coming straight from the Golden Globes, you want saying?
So, they want this white man to apologize for being the best patois speaker, the best Jamaican ever. So, this woman, first of all, cannot even speak patois. They are always trying to get people to apologize. Rene Ritchie said, this lady is Nigerian, stop lying. Rene, you don't need to tell me that I'm lying. If you know that she's Nigerian, please, by all means, I'm always open to learning. Just tell me where she's from. Because I've told you the Nigerians are known to pretend to be Black Americans. I have said this. So I'm not shocked that she's Nigerian. But, she's, in Black America have accepted this lie of, the skin color thing. So now you cannot start differentiating, because now you see how people are using these, victimhood that you promoted to make you look even worse. So thank you for letting me know that she is Nigerian. And trust me, I have seen on Twitter, these conversations is Nigerian women, second generation, that engage in this. I had read another article who fired back at Black Americans about their hypocrisy, about this cultural appropriation. So I'm glad, Rene Ritchie, you pointed it out where this woman is from. Rene, I don't think I'm here to skew anything. If you got the info, just drop it in. No need to say I'm lying.
If me father Tom Hanks presenting in a what soon forward come. Big up, tune in. Big up the youth them way out of Kingston. Me wake up this morning and me see the thing turn up. Internet gone mad. Me drop one big tune right now upon SoundCloud. Link in bio, go listen now. Big tune. Make the thing go up like 7. Up. Go.
Man, he's really, you know what? He almost sounds like me when I do my Jamaican talk. Oh, look here, rude boy. I'm the original rude boy out of Gambia. This is one and only Afridamos. Make sure you catch my next live tomorrow. I'm going to drop that tomorrow. Rude boy. You know what I'm saying? This is the original rude boy out of Kingston. So right now, there are people right now because of my excellent Jamaican accent, I'm sure some of you are upset by this because, you know, they're like, oh, aren't you supposed to be Gambian? Why are you pretending to be Jamaican? So because they cannot do the accent, they'll be upset. This man here, Chet Hanks, those of you that are Jamaican, are you offended? No, because this man is not making fun of you. He loves what he's doing. He's promoting it. But here we go. Let's let Chet Hanks keep going, showing us, you know, his Jamaican skills. Let us know if Chet Hanks is making fun of this or just enjoying it. And, you know, one thing, he is standing his ground to let, you know, these hypocrites know he would never back down. He wants to be who he is. Nobody's going to tell him. And that's the truth. You can, the only person you should please about who you are is you. And that's what he's doing. Kenyan by marriage, KBM, thank you for the $5 super chat. He said, the Afridamus report, check Muzungu Kicha from Denmark, lived in Tanzania, speaks flawless, you know, Kiswahili and famous East African singer. I'll check it out. Let's allow, you know, like, because these people, you know, if you can beat the person, take them down. Again, this woman that is trying to get this man to apologize, like, you know, Richie just pointed, she's Nigerian. She could have cared less about this. So she's reading a script. But she's going to accuse him of cultural appropriation. And I don't want you guys to think I'm naive not to know that they put her up to this. They did put her up to this. But there are Black people who truly believe in this. Let me tell you, these people, they go, they do their investigation, they see what you're insecure about, what they're insecure about, and they write it and they bring it on screen. They bring a person that looks like you. You see this woman originally from Nigeria, but she's Black. If you're into the Black thing, you're like, oh, Chet Hanks is appropriating our culture. When you don't even understand what he's saying, you don't even talk like this. You see my point? You don't even talk like this. But you will, I cannot imagine anyone losing sleep over this. Seriously. Can you imagine anyone losing sleep over this? But they put it on TV. Here we go.
Listen now, Big June.
And then it's like social justice warriors can like go kick rocks.
Yeah.
No comment. Got it.
No, I mean, I 100% agree. Social justice warriors can kick rocks.
My kind of white boy. This is the kind of white boys I know. You bring that BS to them, they'll tell you to kick rocks. And I'm glad he went on television. They try to trap him. You see the look on her face? Even her, we don't know. Like, look, is she appropriating womanhood? I mean, I don't know this person. Richie Rich, let me know if this is 100% a woman. I don't want to assume, because, you know, these days, you got to work that, you know, around the line. I'm just, you know, Richie Rich, you know her, so let me know.
I just got this feeling, man, that this summer is, it's about to be a white boy summer. Get ready, you know, because I am. Just want to drop a few rules.
See, that's what I'm talking about. He said this summer is going to be white boy summer. Did you guys remember when I did the video about how white people celebrate summer and how Black people celebrate summer? It's almost summer. I'm going to make another video refresher for you guys. But listen to Chet Hanks give the stipulation for what white boy summer is like. See, white people, this is how you should be talking, with confidence. Why should you allow anybody to shame you from being white? Tell us what white boy summer is.
Regs for the white boy summer. Okay, rule number 1 to all my white boys out there. No plaid shirts. Okay, I can't be looking like a picnic table out here, boys. No calling girls smoke shows. Okay.
He's right. You know, I've seen those white guys walking around with black shirt on, looking like a picnic table. I'm glad it's about time there's a white boy who isn't ashamed of being white, who isn't afraid of these social justice warriors and people. You see, when you stand up against this fake outrage, it just falls apart. It just completely falls apart. Look at, he said, I'm not going to apologize. See, this compilation, this video, this is what they want him to apologize about. Because he said, oh, this summer is going to be white boy summer. He is white. He's a white male. So they want to make it an offense for him to say that. Just imagine that. Imagine how insecure you have to be offended by a white person saying they are doing white boy summer. If I'm doing my summer, would my summer be called the Soninke summer? That is, if you want to call it that. Oh, for some of you that know me to be an American, you guys can say the African American summer, because I'm double African. Since the blacks want to still be called African American, they want to appropriate the criteria that fit somebody like me being an African American. Like Elon Musk would be considered an African American, but the blacks would be upset by this. They want to hijack what really works for us. So this is why I said I am African American, just to make the people happy. So if you're from Africa, from now on, when people ask you, say you are African American. That is, if you live in America, because since the blacks can make up their mind if they want to be Black American, FBA, ADOS. I'm still waiting when they are going to officialize this, because I know the Somalis that are in America, you guys agree with me, the Eritreans, the Ethiopians, all of you guys agree with me that we should have the African American box. If you agree with me, put a 1 in the chat, please.
It's played out, dude. And you can't just see a hot chick and be like, dude, you see a smoke show, dude. Smoke, dude. Okay, that's over with. Oh yeah, and anything salmon colored wardrobe, burn it. It's time for us to evolve. Okay, period. It's time for us to, grow from a Pikachu to a Raichu.
Hot boy, white boy summer. Got your favorite Instagram. Rude boy, it's a white boy summer. Bad gal, white dandada. Rude boy, it's a white boy summer.
Guys, you guys see why they are upset at the white boy? Look, he is so much. Look, do you guys know that he's wearing a Jamaican flag? This guy is Jamaican. So why are the blacks in America? I shouldn't even say the blacks. Why are these fake liberals trying to get the blacks to be mad at this? The blacks don't even listen to reggae. Look, I've been to reggae concerts, plenty. That's what I go to. I don't go to these rap concerts because, they shoot each other. I don't want to be a part of that. I've been to some before and they had their shenanigans. I'm not into, all that type of stuff, So I used to go to some when I was, like 22 and all that, 23. Yeah, because maybe I didn't understand danger as much. You see, going to the rap concerts, the TIs, Lil Bow Wow, back in those days, Lil Bow Wow, Ray J. So yeah, I've been, Snoop Dogg. I've, a lot of the old school rappers. In fact, you know who I met? Flavor Flav. People, I know you guys are gonna say you made fun of Flavor Flav, but when I met Flavor Flav, guys, this is gonna make you laugh. I was at a Flavor Flav concert one summer. I was wearing a clock on my neck, a big clock, and 2 watches. I had to outdo Flavor Flav. And luckily, I met Flavor Flav backstage. He's like a tiny, skinny guy. And I messed with Flavor Flav. I was like, man, I didn't know that you saw my clock and copied it. He laughed. He's like, yeah, rude boy. He thought I was Jamaican at the time, but I was like, nah. I was just messing with him. I was copying him at the time, Flavor Flav. But I'm just saying, that's just how it goes. These rap concerts, there's shootings over there. So I go to reggae. Most blacks don't go to reggae. It's peaceful there. White people are the ones that go to reggae. And I'm there with them.
I'm out.
So just checking in. Look, I've been kind of on the fence about this for a while. That's why I've never spoke on it. But with the amount of people that I know recently that have gotten COVID, and with like the numbers rising, I think it's important for me to say, like, I got the vaccine. I think everybody should. I think it's really important.
This is going to be interesting. Kenyan by Mary, thank you for the $10 super chat. He said, I'm Kenyan. Niger Vernia Kuma Mekia. I don't know what that is. To all my tears, to all my haters, kick and eat rocks. Thank you, KBM, for the $10 super chat. Guys, please make sure you contribute to the super chat there. This is going to go to a good cause called the Afridamusville. Pretty soon, people will be able to visit Afridamusville. And all are welcome. Okay? All are welcome. In fact, diversity, I'll have to hire some blacks to work there so that people know I'm definitely for the blacks.
Like, that we all do this just as like citizens, as Americans. We have to look out for each other and get this under control, guys. So like, I suggest to all my followers, you guys set an appointment and get the vaccine first thing. Psych! Bitch! If it ain't broke, don't fix it. I never had COVID. You ain't sticking me with that motherfucking needle. It's the motherfucking flu. Get over it, okay? If you're sick, stay inside. I'm tired of having, okay? Why are we working around y'all? If you're in danger, stay your ass inside. I'm tired of wearing the motherfucking mask.
I'm so sick of this mask.
So, he's talking about the jab, right? You know how people walk around, you watch TV, they bring that man, I don't want to say his name. Have you guys noticed? Look, I have a lot of information on this, but I don't talk about it. So, they want him to apologize about all these things. This is all cultural appropriation. So the guy is talking logic. He's like, if it's not broke, don't fix it. If you want to get a job, you're free to get a job. Why you want me to get a job? I heard someone that made the argument. By the way, this is a black woman. Their argument is they are upset because they took the job, so therefore everybody has to. Like, first of all, woman, you made that choice. Why are you upset at the people that didn't do it? It's a free country. So I'm glad his ideology differs from his father's. Supergirl said, Afridamusville, oh, no haters gonna be big. Oh, no, haters gonna be big mad. I hope not. Please, my haters, contribute to the super chat, because I'm telling you, you would be glad you did, because when I open up Afridamusville, you will be happy that the place exists, because I have no hate in my heart towards anyone. All people are welcome. Imagine a place where you can come to, we can all be one and not lie to each other. People from all parts of the world, especially like I was thinking about, I said, especially Somalis. I want to invite Somalis to West Africa, Gambia to be specific, so they can come and see. I think the Somalis would fit right in there. It's a Muslim country, and they would find home there and do business. That's all I'm saying. But let's go.
Dude, flipping Barnes & Noble, buying books. Sir, your mask. Oh, okay, my bad. Gotcha.
Zeb said, you need to hire a Somalian. I just might.
I'm like, I go, you're really on it, huh? He goes, yeah, we are. Okay. He's like, did you get the vaccine? I'm like, yeah, for sure I got the vaccine. Psych! Bitch! If it ain't broke, don't fix it. I never had COVID.
Do your part. We're all in this together. Wear a mask, social distance.
So you guys can see that's his father, Tom Hanks. I don't know how he's Tom Hanks' son, but Tom Hanks, I don't know if he's selling for the pharmaceuticals or he's just, I don't know, just faking it. St. James said, you should name Afridamusville by the beach. Yes, St. James, the beach property is called Afridamusville. That's the place I'm talking about. So my beachfront property, people, I didn't tell you, I have a beachfront property. It's called Afridamusville. So you're all going to be welcome there. Thank you, St. James, for reminding the people. All right, let's see. Ja Nazala said, I'm African American and proud of my African roots. But whoever don't like us can kick rocks with open sandals. Well, thank you. Well, I wouldn't be one of those because I love the African American, like single, even though I'm double African, but I still love the, African American. I'm African American. So obviously I love you double.
Wash your hands. It's a mystery to me how somehow that has been wiped out of what should be ingrained in the behavior of us all. Locking down.
Third assassin said, notice terms like victim, victimhood, victimize, handout, begging, insecure are all used when referring to the American native born Black community. Third assassin, you are absolutely correct. Please write down here what you make of that. You're absolutely right. But that's because that is what is being exhibited. If you think about it, when I say no such thing as racism is made up, it is Black people that come and get upset. In fact, if I find it funny when you guys say, oh, white people must like you. No, the white liberals especially. I had a white man, he was so mad at me. I think if he could fight me, he would do it. This man was so upset because I spoke the truth. I'm waking up the Blacks. Because I asked him, I said, you are a white man. Why are you so concerned about the Blacks? You ain't no Black. Why do you want to promote George Floyd as every Black? Blacks, have you noticed they only promote criminals for you? Now they are telling you the only time a Black man is important is when the Black man is dead. So even you look at that basketball player the other day in Florida, they shot him dead, right? These people are not talking about, oh, we should talk to Blacks and stop this. He was a former NBA player. None of the people cared. So some of you that are thinking I'm against you, when you talk about ally, I am your number one ally. Because I'm like a doctor. I'll give you the pill. The pill might not taste good, but trust me, it will cure you. Trust me, if you look at it, you are being set up. So terror assassin, you are absolutely correct. Because this victimhood thing, the reason why it's attached to you is what we see. Not just us, but everyone that comes to America. This is what is being sold. And the Blacks have no problem expressing it. See, anytime you beg about, this reparation and all, that's what people see. I hope you know that. Let's see here. Proud Eritrean said, let's see what he wrote. He said, Afridamus, Malcolm X warned us about liberalism a long time ago. Yes, I listened to it. This is why the Blacks should even be suspicious of Martin Luther King's story. Because it is the liberals that are giving them these stories. They only want to show you the parts that make you, weaker. That's what they're trying to show you. So me, I'm the antidote to that. I'm waking you up to the facts. That's all it is. Please make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. Let's continue.
You know, we wear masks, and we still do, not just so that we don't catch it, but so that you don't give it to somebody in case you are one of those kind of like asymptomatic carrier.
All right. So that video ended. Rene Ritchie, you are absolutely correct. Rene said, right and left-wing propaganda and misinformation is an issue for Black Americans. Rene, I think Rene honestly got it. Rene, you are onto something. You peeped the game. And I've been looking for people who would come and try to argue this point. Even Tether Assassin. You guys know Tether Assassin is usually vicious in the chat, but I get a feeling even Tether Assassin, from his comments, it tells me he or she agrees a lot more with me today than anything else. So if the woman that is interviewing Chad Hanks is a second generation Nigerian, you as a single African American, African American, I'm double. If you are a single African American, what does that tell you? What does that tell you? Don't just go along with the story because you don't even care about this. Imagine that. So these Jezebels that you are seeing that are walking around with the blonde hair, they are doing the Karen hair. You guys know Whoopi Goldberg, right? She got the fake dreadlocks. Do you know Whoopi's real name? Her real name is Karen. And then she switched it to a Jewish name. But her real name is Karen. But you would watch these same people making fun of the name Karen, of her own name. What does that tell you? That's what you should think about. Ladies and gentlemen, usually you guys know I open the line, but today is not one of those days. I'm glad you guys came in. Please make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. I understand not everyone is going to like what I'm saying here, but you have to understand it's not from a place of maliciousness. It's from a place of speaking the truth. If you look at the nature of America today, the direction that it's headed, Black people are being used to destroy America. Literally. The liberals have put Black people on speed dial. It's like 1-800. If you want to destroy America, say 1-800 call a Black. That's what they made it seem like. Look at the abortion thing. They amplified a mentally ill Black person talking about, oh, I'm killing the babies. I'm killing the babies. But the truth of the matter is a real genocide is being committed. And you have a government that you support telling you to promote your own destruction. Think about that. They got you busy with silly things like cultural appropriation. They want you to care about a patois, Jamaican language that you make fun of, that most of you Blacks make fun of. You don't even care about it. But now they want you to care. Just like they want you to care about the Ukraine war. You did not. Right now, you look at the propaganda. Finland, for instance, Finland. Those of you Africans that are in Finland, you need to beware. Finland just joined NATO. This is dangerous. Finland have always stayed neutral. But they joined NATO against Russia. Finland shares 800 km border with Russia. Do you think that's a good thing? It is not a good thing. But they are going to use, quote unquote, Blackness. Finland's leaders are idiots. These people are trying to create a World War II. I guarantee you pretty soon, even in Finland, boom, there would be racism that exists. Don't fall for it. Just like I'm telling you, don't fall for this. Mind your own business and you shall live long. Until next time, I am your host, Afridamus. I will see you guys here tomorrow. Like and share the video. Please do not be a stranger here. I will see you another time. Thank you.
Entre más lejos, más feliz. Era un veneno y lo bebí. Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. Siempre sé la peli esa actriz, pero ya vamos llegando al fin. Yeah, yeah. Somos felices a distancia. Ya no aguanto tu fragancia. Tú no haré consentir.